This is Vectis Radio.
It's 13 minutes past 10 and we are live on FM 104.6 and on the internet.
You did it, Corey.
Yeah, I
you
did
did
it.
it.
I did
you
it.
did it. You got us there.
As you may have guessed, we're joined by my good mate Ian Mack, a familiar voice to FM on these here islands. But he's back on FM with a brand new station on FM 104.6 for the very first time today. Bit of a dream come true, isn't it, Ian?
It is, yes. It's nice to be back on FM. It's been a while, but we got there, and with your magnificent support and knowing where all the waters go, we actually got there. It works. I just want to say, because obviously we played Derek Sandy out of the news.
Yes.
And we also played Thin Lizzy as well.
Yes.
And the reason why we played Thin Lizzy is because that's the record we launched with back in 2010, and it was a story behind Bully and myself. The boys are back in town, and obviously we remember him today.
Yes, we do.
And we are broadcasting live from the Martin Bully Ball studio from here on in.
We are.
We've got a few people to say thank you to.
Well, go right ahead. You can hear there's a lot of noise in the background, by the way. That's
I've
the crowd in here.
written a huge list here.
What, it's a whole Post-it note?
Yes. Lots of people. We first of all got to say big thanks to Mike and Isabella. They're at Music Creative. They have supplied us with some fantastic jingles.
Yes.
And they're obviously they are wonderful jingles. They've done the wonders with them. So thank you to Mike and Isabella at Music Creative. Also, we've got to say a big thank you to a guy called Graham Appel, who I phoned up and said, look, would you mind digging us a hole? Graham is from GAB.
Yes.
He thought I was going to bury somebody.
It was big enough.
It was big enough. We could have put a few people in there. But he came along and dug a hole about 5 foot by 5 foot and 5 foot deep.
Yeah.
It was bigger than we first thought. So we've got to say big thanks to Graham Appel from GA Building Construction.
Yep.
And also his mate Scotty who was helping out. We then had to fill it with concrete. But before all of that, we had to borrow a tipper and a digger off of Ron Bowler from Jewson. So a big thank you to Ron. Massive generosity. And then we asked Peter Gray if he'd come along and bung 2 ton of concrete in our hole, so we could then put the aerial transmittery type thing up on this lump of concrete that we made. And we've got to say a big thank you to Peter Gray and White Building Materials, and also massive thanks to the Vectis volunteers, past and present, because there's a lot of people that have been helping us. We've got a lot of history. 2010 we launched. A lot of people have been here doing a lot of good things. Yeah. So we say a massive thank you. Go on, give yourselves a clap out there, because that's most of you lot out there. And also there's other people to thank here as well. I've got to thank my neighbours, Mick and Shell, because when when we applied for the licence all those years ago, and then they said, oh yeah, you can have one. We then needed, with shock horror, we then needed an amount of money.
We needed a phenomenal amount of money.
And within 4 days, they'd come round, Mick and Shell would come round with a cheque and put that in my hand and said, look, put that towards the fund. 4 months later, they organised an event and put another £1,000 in my hand. And then other people started, the ball rolling with other things. Finances came in, we could afford. Here we are, cutting a long story short. I know it's been long already, but cutting a long story short, here we are, under budget, on time, and on FM. Okay, I've also got to say a massive thanks to my wife, who's been absolutely amazing throughout all of this. I'm pretty sure that I didn't realise how close we came to divorce a number of times. Because of my want to this is what I wanted, this is what I wanted us to be, and it took a lot out of me, and obviously she's been there subsidising the radio station and my life for the last 8 years, so she deserves huge credit for this. And I know that there's that your wife has done the same, and I know you're going to pay tribute to Maggie and Mo, because
we will, yes.
2 rocks have basically made this station. But say before I hand it back to you, thank you. I think you've been absolutely amazing. It's a case of the ethos of this station is ordinary people doing amazing things. So that's what we're here. That's why we're here up on FM. Welcome back, by the way. It's been a long time. I wanted to do a Johnny Rotten thing and say, hello FM, I'm back. But I don't think that's me, although I've just done it.